And I have said, the 12 steps, I believe, and many others, I say this every time I talk about the steps. Dallas Willard, if you're not familiar with him, you should get familiar with him. Um, uh, and he was not a counselor type. Many times, the 12 steps kind of get relegated to this. Well, that's for those people over there in recovery. Well, what those bad people, not us good people sitting on the front row in church. That 12 step stuff. That's for that's those people that meet down in the basement of the church. I mean, we let them meet here because, they're just pretty pitiful, and they really really need it. Like, not man, we don't. We look good, Wow, we are good. But those people they meet kind of. It's down in the basement in the church building. Uh, metal chairs in a circle. Not the good. We can't put the good church chairs down there because those people they'll probably tear them up or something. So we're gonna let them meet in this basement, metal chairs, and a naked light bulb. It's always the naked light bulb down in those rooms, because it's those people, those people in recovery. That's someone that's living a life of recovery, which simply means recovering the life that God intended, not those people down there, over there in the basement. It's us.
But the people who make it, and who make it for as long as Petty has made it, have to have some kind of rocket fuel driving them. I get the sense from the songs that there was some anger in Tom that was bigger than normal teenage rebellion. There was something that drove him out of Gainesville and drove him through all of these battles and all this refusal to back down to the normal way business is done, or even to make the normal compromises that people make in order to get ahead. I was always struck by how many great rock musicians lost their mothers when they were very young. That would be Lennon and McCartney, the guys in U2, Madonna, Jimi Hendrix, Aretha Franklin, Sinead O'Connor. It becomes an incredible list if you look for it. And I said that to Bono once. Both he and Larry Mullen in U2 lost their mothers when they were kids. And he said, it seems like the untold story of rock and roll is either your mother died or your father hated you. And he said, and if, like me, you were lucky enough to have both, there's no limit to what you can accomplish.
Those two factors, the dangerous, shadowy figure of a dad and the sweet mom that left too early in your life, I think that gives you a certain drive. Though I wasn't aware of it at the time, but if I look back on it, I kind of turned that anger into ambition. There was an extreme rage in me that from time to time would show its head through a lot of my life. Any sort of injustice just outraged me. I just couldn't contain myself. And this comes from my dad just being so incredibly verbally abusive to me. And he was certainly physically abusive at times. He would give me pretty good beatings most of my life. Oh, it was just crazy. The house could erupt into a fist fight.
Myself or my mother, if we were there, which we usually always were, we would get in the middle of it too and obviously try to stop it. I know on numerous occasions I, basically tried to tackle my father to try to, so that my brother could get away.
I remember my mom even taking a few to the face trying to get between me and my dad,
I think he was harder on Tom because Tom was not really willing to conform to what he wanted as a son.
I wasn't a fisherman, I wasn't a hunter, I was just this mild-mannered little kid that was really interested in the arts more than anything.
Yeah, my mother was always kind of the glue that held the family together.
She was an angel, just wonderful and very good to me. She's the one that it really made it seem like a home. Though she worked every day My grandmother, on my mother's side, was very close to me. And she was very supportive all through my childhood, and just told me always, you know, you can do anything you set your mind to. My brother's Prince, you know, just a wonderful guy. Don't think we've ever had an argument in our lives. It was a strange household. I didn't even have a Southern accent. And my family, you know, they talk with these really thick accents, but for some reason I never got one. And I remember being, you know, 5 years old and really thinking that my parents had been replaced by aliens. And so I think when music came along, that's where I escaped to.
As my brother became more and more successful, then my father became more and more supportive. And obviously he started to realize that he was wrong.
Reconcile, I don't think so. I think he certainly loved my success and it became his identity in Gainesville. You know, he was my dad, and which really sort of insulted me that he embraced rock in such a big way when he'd been so against it.
You don't get to where he got to from where he started out unless you have something to prove to somebody who's not listening to you.